Welcome to the Thrive in Design podcast, the show for interior product brands ready to turn insight into action. I'm your host, Nicole Lashae Hall, founder of Thrive in Design. Each week, we explore how manufacturers, marketers, and sales leaders can align strategy, storytelling, and systems to drive real specification growth. This podcast is about moving beyond scattered marketing, outdated sales tactics, and visibility for visibility's sake, and into clarity, alignment, and momentum. Whether you're navigating change, scaling thoughtfully, or rethinking how your brand shows up in the design industry, you're in the right place. Hello and welcome back for another insightful episode of the Thrive in Design podcast. I'm your host, Nicole Lashae Hall, and I'm so excited to have you back. And this season has been probably my favorite season by far. Now, I love every season on all the guests that we have and all the insights that we share, but I have to tell you, it has been getting better and better. And it has been such a pleasure seeing each and every one of you download the podcast and listen to the podcast. If you are a loyal listener, hello, there's over 2,000 of you that listen to this podcast on a regular basis. I can see the stats. And so many new listeners this season. And so I want to take a moment really quick to talk to those 2,000 plus of you, because I want you guys to start taking action with Thrive in Design. You may come here and listen to the podcast, but the first thing that I want you to do is get your ticket to the AI and Design Summit. And today I have a story time for how the summit came about. But if you have not yet, go to the link in the show notes or go to tidsummit.com, because we're going to be talking about AI and how it applies to interior product manufacturers or product manufacturers in the design industry in a way that I have not seen it done yet, at least not in this format. So all the 2,000 plus of you that listen on a regular basis, I look forward to seeing you at the summit. Now, for those of you who are new here, welcome. You're probably like, okay, I want to hear some insight. Well, today I don't have many insights to share. I just wanted to take a moment for story time to tell you about really the evolution of Thrive in Design and how we got to the point of where we are now of launching what I see as the industry's first AI summit for the design industry. Okay, so if you don't know me, again, my name is Nicole Lashae Hall, and I am the founder and CEO of Thrive in Design. Thrive in Design is way more than just this podcast. We are actually a boutique consultancy in the design industry, and we focus on helping product companies get specified. And so we do that in a lot of different ways by auditing a company and creating a strategic plan for them to get specified, mapping out all of the touch points that it will take to refine how they show up to designers. And then we also do the execution of that, right? So if one of those touch points is your website or your sales road kit or any other thing on social, etc., our team handles that execution beautifully as well. But what I have been finding over the last year and a half, especially, is that AI has come into the conversation in different ways for our industry. I've had people email me and talking about AI, especially after one of our podcast episodes, and share their frustrations or share their fears and say, is AI going to replace me? I've had other people not understand, how does AI actually apply to the design industry? Because most of the content out there is actually pretty vague or really talks about processes internally and how to be more efficient. That's relevant too. And I myself have been AI obsessed, right? Most of the time, if I'm sitting down somewhere and I'm just scrolling, I'm usually consuming AI content and understanding all of the different integrations that work on the main platforms that I use. Or I'm testing out how these platforms are working and how they can integrate into what we do in our work at Thrive in Design. Because I truly believe in efficiency. I truly believe in efficiency. And if AI can help me do something better and more efficient, I'm going to do it. I'm going to do it. I don't know if you can relate. But with all of the AI questions that have been coming about and all of the conversations that I've been having with our guests and the testing that I had been doing in the background, the implementation that I've been doing for Thriving Design and my clients, I was really thinking for the last year about how AI needs to be addressed specifically for the design industry. Now, what I find is that, or what I have seen, and you have probably related to this as well, is that usually there have been really great workshops when it comes to AI in the design industry at different trade shows, right? So maybe you attend HD Vegas or NeoCon or BDNY or High Point Market even. And there might be, workshops or panel discussions happening around AI and how those specific people within that workshop are using it. But if you are not in attendance to those conferences and you are not in the room, then you miss it. The conversation is not documented. The touch points or the main takeaways are not shared. If you're not there, then you miss it. That's one thing that I found. The second thing is also just like the frustrations of people being scared of AI being a replacement for them, or them not knowing like where to start when it comes to AI and specifically how it applies to our industry. And one of the greatest pleasures that I have at Thrive in Design is actually hosting this podcast, because I get to talk to people from all across the industry, from product designers to marketers to sales leaders. And I get so many different perspectives that I'm sharing here on this podcast. But another pain point when it comes to that is that most of the information I am intaking, and we are sharing it with our clients. And if you didn't go back to listen to all 70 plus episodes of this podcast, you might have missed it. So that's another miss, right? And I'm pointing these out for a specific reason. And then the last thing that I see is that, one, I truly believe, especially for interior product companies, the sale of your products is completely tied to the customer's journey, also known as the experience of the designer. And what I talk about all day long and what we do with our clients is I want an interior product company to truly ace the journey. And what does that mean? Now, within design thinking practices, journey mapping is one of the key tools in order to map out your customer experience, especially how that experience ties into your brand. And you want to be very in tune with that customer experience. What is impacting it? How is it changing? How are AI tools, shifting their experience, right? And so if you're always in tune with that customer journey, then you're able to ace it. And when I say ace, yes, I mean like ace a test, like perfect your strategy and how you meet them where they are. But for us at Thrive in Design, ACE is also an acronym built into every single thing that we do and strategize with our clients. So if you're new here, I want to take a moment to talk about what does that mean exactly? So for us, ACE is an acronym that means awareness, consulting, execution. So A is that awareness in how are you actually showing up and telling your brand story to the designer? How are they becoming aware of your brand? The second part is how are you consulting a designer on the project? So now they're aware of you, but now you have to take a consultative selling approach to be a part of their design process and give them white glove service during the design experience to make sure that they not only specify you, but the spec is actually held through all phases of design. And then the last part is E, how are you actually executing that sale? Because once that spec is ready to get ordered, it has to get brought across the finish line. And you want to make sure that everything that you have in terms of internal processes are aligned in order for that sale to come through the door. And so those are the moments, especially when it comes to A&D sales, that are important. Acing the journey. Now, how does that apply to AI and why we're having this conversation today? Now, AI is in every single one of those touch points in some different manner. You might be using AI to define your brand story or do copywriting. You might be using AI to make sure that your images and information are showing up in LLMs when a designer is actually searching for a product like yours. You might be using AI to have a custom dashboard that replaces your Salesforce to easily do quotes, commission reports, etc., and get a sale out of the door in that execution phase. If things feel stable, but specifications feel a little harder to win, you're not alone. Designers haven't stopped specifying. They've changed how they decide. Spec Ready helps interior product brands understand whether their positioning, story, and sales readiness still match today's buying environment. It's a strategic assessment that clarifies what's working, what's outdated, and what needs adjustment without starting from scratch. And if you want to better understand what's changing across the industry, the AI in Design Summit provides practical insight into how strategy and technology are reshaping decisions. Learn more at specready.co and tidsummit.com. I know, I said a lot there. And the cool thing with Thrive in Design and how we have evolved is that we have resources for every single one of those touch points at a regular level. Then we also have resources for every single one of those touch points and how you can integrate AI with either our team or one of our partners that we're doing. And so with all of those touch points, what gets me really excited is that we have curated this summit, AI in Design Summit, the first of its kind, to really talk about those touch points in depth that we just talked about here in terms of Ace the Journey and how AI is being implemented by real designers, real interior product companies, and what adoption actually looks like into each of those touch points. So if you have been in a place where you're like, oh my gosh, is AI replacing me? Is AI replacing our team? How does our team adopt it? How is it even relevant to what we're doing as an interior product company? Then you need to be in the room. Let's take a moment to talk about the agenda of this day. So as a recap, May 20th, 2026 is going to be our first AI in Design Summit. Now, at Thrive in Design, this is actually our third virtual summit. So we've been doing this thing for a long time now, but this is our first summit specifically for the design industry, specifically around AI. And so we have some amazing speakers that are going to be sharing with us, but let's run through the agenda real quick. It's going to be a jam-packed day starting at 9 a.m. Eastern on May 20th, where we'll have a welcome and summit orientation to give context for the day and how that Ace the Journey methodology that we use at Thrive in Design will really frame what we're going to talk about for the day. The second thing that we'll have is our keynote. And you guys are going to be super excited about the keynote. The topic is relevance, innovation, evolution in the AI era, and it's going to be brought to us by Erica Sword. And if you're a longtime listener of the podcast, you probably have heard Erica on the podcast at least twice, and she has been our most popular guest and most downloaded episode. So if you have listened to her episodes here on this podcast, get ready for her to share some wonderful insights around AI, not just being used simply as a tool, but being used to reshape how brands are discovered, evaluated, and trusted. From there, we're going to have a panel discussion, and that topic is going to be Designing with Intelligence, AI's Role in Interior Product Development. We'll have Kate Rancourt moderating the panel, and then we have some amazing well-known designers in our industry sharing how they use AI in their product development journeys. So you'll hear from Stacey Garcia, Brad Ascalon, Will Zhang, to name a few, and how each of them are using AI in their product development in completely different ways. Now, each of them has individually shared that experience with me, so I can't wait for them to share with the audience of how they're innovating within each of their practices. Then we'll have a break, but after the break, we'll come back and talk about the future of brand voice, AI, and storytelling in the design industry. Now, if you've listened to this podcast, you have heard how important it is to have a clear brand story. If your brand story is confusing, you are going to confuse designers and they're not going to specify you. But if you have a clear brand story, they'll understand, what are your core values? What do you sell? And how is the product that you're positioning helping them? And how can they even share your story in a clearer way to their clients, right? Because a clear brand story also allows them to tell your story and value your product in their design process when they're going in front of their clients. This specific session will talk about artificial intelligence and how it's changing how brands express who they are. So we're going to talk about everything from content creation to aligning marketing and sales language to building consistency across all of your content and all of your channels, including rep conversations. So this will be moderated by one of my Syracuse professors, actually, Francesco Narici. And he is the creative director and strategist at an amazing company called Collectiva in London. And then we'll also have panelists like Jamila Watkins-Millett, Ken Lewis, Tori Sakema, and Susan Fernandez, all who have been amazing guests on this podcast and other episodes as well. Then we'll be ending the day with a fireside chat. And so, of course, we went through product development, we went through storytelling, and of course, this is just the tip of the iceberg because I wanted to make this a 3-day summit, but I also wanted to test it to see what you guys are going to be asking for after this. So expect another summit to cover even more topics when it comes to acing the journey. But when we end the day, it will be end the day on a wonderful note. We will have a fireside chat with Andrew Lane from House of Digby. And this is going to be from insight to action. So it's going to be how your team can successfully adopt AI, right? Because we want you to walk away after a full day of exploring AI and product development and marketing to understanding how your team can adopt AI and not just be curious about it, but go straight forth into implementation. So get ready for a structured ending to our day to talk about all of these things. So if any of these things are insightful, you can register and attend the full day. You can pop in and out throughout the day. Or if you're like, oh my gosh, my day is jam-packed on May 20th, I'm not going to be able to attend, you can still register for a VIP pass and you'll have access to all of the replays for 3 months post-summit. So I'm super excited about this one-of-a-kind event that we're putting together with all of the amazing speakers that have come together to be a part of this. So if you have not already, go ahead and secure your ticket. The link is in the show notes in order for you to be there. Now, special bonus goes out to those of you who actually are ready to book a discovery call right now. At the summit, we will be sharing our AI-powered service that we do at Thrive in Design in order to streamline your customer journey and your go-to-market strategy. We have only announced that in-house for our clients so far and for a few people on our email list, but we will be doing a huge launch in announcing what that service is at the summit. But if you want to hear about it before then, if you're like, I'm curious and how, Thrive in Design can help us in our go-to-market strategy in auditing where we are and even implementing AI into different parts of our customer experience, then the bonus is for you to schedule a discovery call and we will get you also 50% off of your ticket to the summit if you do schedule a discovery call. But now you have to show up to the discovery call as well. But this is going to be something that the industry has literally never seen before. So I'm super excited about that. But that's all I have for you guys today. So that was a little bit of story time and, all the questions that we have been getting around AI, our observations in the industry and how AI is not being talked about in the way that we want to see it, especially for our core audience, which is product companies in the design industry. And so we have curated this day especially for you. And it won't be the first one. It'll be the first of many. So I look forward to seeing you in the room and I look forward to you listening to the next episode. So see you then. If today's episode sparked ideas, the next step is giving those ideas structure. Spec Ready is Thrive in Design's strategic framework designed to help interior product brands show up clearly, align marketing and sales, and become easier to specify without adding more noise or complexity. You can learn more at specready.co. And if you'd like to continue the conversation, be sure to follow the podcast and check out the show notes for links, resources, and ways to get in touch with our team. Thanks for listening to the Thrive in Design podcast. I'll see you next time.